Time for a tech discussion this morning on Wake Up Nigeria. And for that, we have Feranmi Isreal, a cybersecurity professional with over 3 years' experience in security engineering, security investigations, threat containment, incident management, and penetration testing. Today, the discussion is data security and the Nigerian. It's such a pleasure to have you in the studio with us today. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, one might not really understand your portfolio until you actually find yourself in certain situations that make you actually appreciate what it is. But then let's talk about data security itself. What is data security?
Okay, thank you very much. Data security really speaks about the fact that people transact and people have conversations over the internet. People share things, people receive things, and all of that is basically being passed through the internet. And it's important that we're able to regulate the movement, right? You want to know, where's my data going? Who am I sharing it with? Are they the intended parties? Are they the people I really want to share that with? What are they doing with what I'm sharing with them? So it is really important to have those conversations around that so we know exactly how to safeguard what we want exposed and what we want kept private. So the whole essence of understanding how data flows basically is what we understand by data security.
So this is a lot. It might seem simple and straightforward, data security, but it's a lot. You've mentioned different angles to it. Can we break it down even further?
Okay, so let's look at it personally, let's look at it organization-wide. So personally, you want to look at, okay, for example, where's my profile picture going to? Maybe I'll upload a picture to Instagram, for example. How far does the picture go? Maybe I send a text to someone on WhatsApp, for example. How wide does that go? And the more we interact on the internet, especially within Nigeria, I've found that a lot of people do not realize the depth of how much
information that they're putting out there.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
And even organizations, right, as they continue to interact with other organizations, you need to make sure that what we share with others is kept within that sphere and not spread to people that we don't necessarily want to interact with it.
So now, as an average Nigerian, trying to understand what data security is, what do I need to know and what do I need to do? Okay,
so the first thing is to know that anything you put on the internet does not go away. And it's very key that you know that anything that you share, once it leaves your private network and it goes outside to the internet, it does not leave. There's a saying that we have in cybersecurity: the internet never forgets, right? So you want to be really careful of the things that you share with others. So an example is this: if you're currently at a specific location, you do not want to necessarily share that you're at the location at that time. Maybe give some hours gap. Okay, maybe you've gotten somewhere else different, because as you continue to move, not everyone is a good person on the internet. So you want to make sure that the things that you share, time-based, location-based, those things that are very sensitive, you want to make sure that it's not in real time as much as possible, so that you're not able to be easily tracked and people can just generally be safe out there.
Now, for the organization angle of it.
So for the organizations, I would say this: you want to be able to audit the people who you are interfacing with. So there's something in cybersecurity where we call supply chain attack. So what supply chain attack means is that you interact with someone, that person interacts with someone else. So it's like a three-way system. You may be able to control what the information you give them, but you want to make sure that what information that they also share with another organization, your data is not part of that. So it is very important that you audit those companies to make sure that those things that are yours remain yours, and those things that are for them remain theirs, and things are not spilling both ways.
But how do things spill?
Okay.
Is it that they'll hack your... I need to know more about this.
All right. So things can happen intentionally and unintentionally.
So intentionally is when someone sells out.
Yes. So someone sells out, or maybe a malicious hacker gains access to their systems and begins to leak that. So we have a couple of breach forums where people go to an organization, they basically hack in, get all the data, and they harvest it and post it out on something called the dark web. So the internet has like the surface web where everyone accesses, then you have a different side of the internet called the dark web. There, people sell this data. So someone get access to company information, we call it personally identifiable information, or PII. So things like maybe your debit card information, your name, your address, all those very sensitive things. And they have all of that and they just post on dark web for people to buy. So as an organization, you want to make sure that you are very, very intentional about your systems. And also you want to be able to have something called data leakage prevention tools. So called DLP tools in cybersecurity. So DLP tools, what that happens is that you have that installed in your environment. And hiring a cybersecurity company or a professional like where I work, Digis, you would be able to track where your data is moving to. And you'll be able to set up rules that, okay, if it's going somewhere that's outside of what it should be, block it, right? So we're able to have all those things in place. To a large extent, you're able to curb those things, whether intentionally or unintentionally.
So I'm going to take you to the statement you made about debit card, because thank God you said it's data security and Nigerian.
Yeah.
Now, so many Nigerians do not know just how far and wide it is when you talk about sharing your PIN with people, when you talk about sharing your debit card information. Some people give other people their ATM to go and withdraw, their ATM cards rather, to go and withdraw, forgetting that the information is all encompassing, because the unfortunate thing about debit cards is everything that is needed to swipe your account is on that card. So how do people protect themselves even when they are so open and willing to give out? Because I've always thought I'll call it the two-factor authentication, in the sense that when you enter your card details on an online platform, you still have to send some authentication code from your phone or your email and stuff. Is that enough? And then are there other ways that you could still lose these things, considering the fact that you're giving a random person your card?
All right. Me to you, two-factor authentication can be bypassed.
It can?
It can.
Wahala.
Yes. Me to you, I will tell you, as a cybersecurity professional, there are ways to bypass these things. And I mean, you have to test the system to know how good they are, and I can tell you they can be.
So all that, check your email or your SMS for a code. It can be bypassed.
It can. It just makes it harder, right? So in cybersecurity, what you want to do is that you want to increase the barrier, the amount of work it takes to eventually get in. So you want to raise it as much as possible. So when they tell you, oh, don't share. If you share, have 2FA. If you have 2FA, have a different. So we have something called MFA, not just 2FA, multi-factor authentication. So you can have more than one kind of extra layer of protection, right? So generally, we tell people, don't share these things online, right? Let me give an interesting example, people that do not consider. You know, there's a meme where they say things like, oh, if you're in July and the day of the month, like put it together and maybe to come up with a random funny thing and people put it out there. You just gave out your month of birth, your date of birth. You may think that it's separate, but someone else probably has access to something else somewhere else. And they begin to match that data together and eventually get access to you. So as much as you can, don't share things that you're not meant to share. Those things are a lot. And the more we put it out there, the more people can match it together and eventually get access to it.
I recall someone cautioning me about people who share their, like, you know, when some people make tweets then or post on social media, share your account details and your phone number.
Yes.
I got to find out that it was more or less like harvest.
Yes.
Like, thank you for the free food.
Exactly.
And many of these hackers are so patient. They have your details. They are just waiting for the right time. When you put in some money, maybe like 5 years time when you're all made, and then you're like, what happened? What happened? I've not put my account in like 10 years. But you never can tell. How does that work?
Okay, so one of the first I tell people, let me give precautionary methods and something that people can try right now, right? So let's be more practical. There's a website called haveibeenpawned.com.
Have I been?
Pawned. So pawn is kind of like a cybersecurity term. When you like eventually get access to something, you're like, oh, I pawned this thing. PAWNED.
Yeah, like pawn shop.
Yes, exactly. So get there, get to the website, put in your email address, and see whether your email has been involved in a data breach before.
Who?
So if you just see that your email has been involved, change it immediately.
change your email address or
the password.
The password.
The password for the email address, change it immediately. Right? Because a lot of time people don't know because
you can do this for your social media accounts.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
you can, right? So there are tools to put in social media accounts and begin to check. Generally, I tell people rotate your passwords as much as you can. Use a password manager, right? I wouldn't necessarily call names down, but just have a password manager. Don't reuse your passwords. A lot of people, date of birth, they use it in their passwords.
Why are you shouting?
Location, where they stayed, right? They use it in their password. Where they say at that time, they use it in their password. So those things, I'm
feeling attacked now, but go on.
Because at the end of the day, the concept of hacking is to understand people.
Yeah.
So the more you understand people, the more you know what their behavior is like, and the more you are able to use that either for your good
or for bad.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for your time. It's been quite an interesting conversation, Feranmi. Thank you indeed.
You're very welcome.
At this point, we have to take a break. You're watching Wake Up Nigeria. Stay with us. We'll be right back.